Hey guys, how are you? Hope you guys had a good weekend. Today, since my package didn't come in the mail again, we're going to be doing another how-to. Last time I said that we would be looking over the stack. Last time we talked about how the basic turn works, and the time before that we talked about basic spells. So today we'll talk about the stack. The stack is like an order of operations, sort of. So, like I told you guys before, instances can be played on either turn as long as you have the mana to cast it, and then you do what it says. So, that being said, if an instant can be played on your turn or your opponent's turn, it causes something. It goes onto the stack. All spells go onto the stack, meaning that say you play a creature. Okay, say you want to play your creature down. You got your mana and you want to play your creature down and, for its ability or to attack or whatever. So your creature will go onto the stack before it resolves. It technically isn't out yet. So what that means is, say you tap your mana, you want to play your creature, okay? Your opponent then has an opportunity to cast a spell, okay? So if they have the mana, they could counter your your creature. This one actually says non-creature spell, but there are ones that say counter target creature spell, etc. So, or say they don't have a counter spell and they want to draw a card to try to maybe draw a counter spell. There are draw cards. There's all sorts of things. They might have an ability that they can do. So how it works is you play your creature, they have a chance to do something back. All right, so let's say that they play Syncopate. Okay, this is a counter spell. It's an instant, and it has an X and a blue to cast it. Let me try to get that in focus. Come on, focus up. Stupid camera. All right, what it says is you counter target spell unless its controller pays X. So an X spell means that you can control how much you put into it. So they play their creature, okay? So say they tapped all their mana to play their creature, and you have a blue, and just say one other mana. You can tap it and counter that spell unless they pay 1. Now, if they tapped out to play this creature, they obviously can't pay that 1 mana. So this creature is now countered and never came into play. All right, so that's a basic stack. Okay, so let's look at it again. Play my creature. All right, counter it unless you pay 1. Okay, well, say they do have 1 mana. They could play their 1 mana additional, and then this goes away. So nothing happened. Their creature comes out. All right, now let's say you have one that just says counter target spell. Okay, this isn't that card. I'm just using it as a reference. All right, so say they play their creature, you counter it. Now this one doesn't have a unless they pay X. So unless you do something back, your spell is countered. Now what happens is you then have the opportunity to play a spell in response to their spell. Okay, so say then you play the Syncopate, and since they're tapped out, you could play it for, say, X being 1. Okay, so that means that your Syncopate would counter their counter spell, which allows your creature to come in. The thing with the stack is it always resolves in the reverse order. So you played yours first, but when it's on the stack, you see it's on the bottom, then their spell, then your spell. So if they played a spell and then you played a spell on top of it, this is all if you have the mana to do so. The stack will always resolve with the last spell played. So it would go this one, work goes off, and then this one goes off, and then this one goes off, and then this one, and then your creature. So always remember that the last spell played is the first spell to happen. Okay, so in this case, you played your creature, they tried to counter it, and then boom, you're countering their counter. So if they don't have the mana to play it, your counter resolves, which counters their counter, which leaves your creature able to come into play. Now that's a example of a countering stack. Okay. There's also other spells. So say it's your attack step. Okay. And you attacked, and now your creature stepped, and you have no blockers. Okay. And then they want to attack. Okay. So they declare attackers. Then you have a chance to respond. Say you have a green mana. You have a green spell. So you can respond with this. When they declare their attackers, you can respond with a spell, this spell or an ability, whatever. This one actually says, come on, if you'll focus in. Come on. Why is it being so fuzzy today? Well, this one says, untap target creature, it gains +1/+3 until end of turn. Okay? So they declare their attackers, and you say, I have response. You tap your 1 mana and play this on your creature, meaning it will untap and gain +1/+3. So now you have a blocker. They might not have, have seen that coming, or, you could do that in the better play would be to wait until the declare blockers. Okay. So they declare their attackers, say they have 1 creature, okay? And they declare their attackers, they attack with their creature. We'll use this creature for this example. I declare my attacks. I'm going to attack with this creature, okay? Normally they think they're going to get the damage through because you have no blockers. Okay, so in the declare blocker step, you can tap 1, play your spell, untap this, and block with it. So it's a trick. You just trick them into attacking you, knowing you had a card that would give you a blocker. So now, with the +1/+3, your creature is bigger than theirs. Their creature would die, yours would live, and now you have the advantage. So that's another example of things you could do on the stack. You can play an instant at any time. Upkeep, untap, main phase, their turn, end steps. Anytime that you have the mana available and the cards available, you can play a spell, an instant spell. Works even with sorceries. Say you play this one on your turn, it's a sorcery. Remember, sorceries can only be played on your turn. Oh, now it zooms in. I create 2 white knight tokens with vigilance. Okay, you tap your 4 mana, it goes on the stack. If they do nothing, you get your 2 tokens. If they have the opportunity to counter it, or they have an opportunity to play a spell to draw them cards, etc. But whatever happens, if they try to counter it or whatever, it always goes off the spell that was played last. Okay. There's also other ways to deal with things. Say you're attacking, there are instances where you can kill the creature or unsummon the creature. So say you have no blockers and they attack, but you have a spell that says unsummon, like this one right here. This one you tap 1, it's an instant, you return target creature to its owner's hand. So now when they declare their attackers, you can say, I'm going to tap 1 and unsummon it to your hand. So you're not taking any damage off of this creature. Now remember, it's on the stack, so they can reply with counters, they could reply with an ability, etc. You always have to keep that in mind. There's other spells that kill a card outright, so say they go to attack, you can play a kill spell, destroy target's creature. This is not that spell, I'm just using an example. Kill spells are generally like 2 to 4 mana, depending on what they do, and they usually come in black. So you could tap that and say, when you declare attackers, I'm going to tap my mana and destroy your creature if you have that spell. So in Magic, there's lots of variations on what you can do on the stack, what you can do on your turn, what you can do on your opponent's turn. Magic is a simple game to learn and understand, but it takes a long time to master it. There's always new cards coming out, new combinations, that sort of thing. So your deck can be so much different than your buddy's deck. You know, it's a great game. And then, I mean, for another example, here's a spell, an instant that says untap all non-land permanents you control. So if you attack last turn and they come and swing at you on their turn thinking you have new blockers, well, you could tap this when they declare their attacks, untap all your creatures, and have a blocker. Boom. Now you can block their creature and take no damage. It's so many things you can do. Depends on if you like aggressive decks, you know, tempo decks, combo decks, all these. There's all sorts of different kind of decks out there, all sorts of different kind of cards that you can play. And it's all a matter of what you like to play, what you enjoy, that sort of stuff. So that is the basic stacks, those fat stacks as I like to call them. But see, this is a spell that is an instant, and it would give your creature +2/+2 until end of turn. Also has a bonus ability if it's a vampire, it gains first strike. But if you play this on an attacker when they have no blockers, you get more damage through. Or if you play this thinking that when they think your blocker's tiny and they'll kill it, well, now you could play this and boom, your blocker is bigger. You win the combat, they lose a creature, you keep your creature. So it's always good to maybe have a mana or two open for certain spells in your hand. Also, it's always good to think if they have mana open, they might have spells in their hand. You know, fake each other out. Some big, you know, mental game. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes they leave the mana open to bluff. Sometimes they play out all the mana and have no cards in hand. It's a big signal to say, hey, they can't stop me from attacking or doing what I want to do. Maybe now it's my chance to attack with all my creatures and win the game. So it's just a thought on how do you like to play? You know, do you like to play passive, aggressive? Do you like to hold your mana open and wait for them to play stuff so you can counter it or kill it or bounce it and set them back, you know, take the advantage away, sort of thing. So, you know, if you have any questions about the stack or the basic turns or basic card types, feel free to leave a comment, and I will be happy to answer any questions you might have. Or if you just want to leave a comment and say, hey, how are you? Or, you know, talk about a game that you had with an awesome, you know, combo in it, or a game you thought you won, but they pulled out something crazy, you know, like a crazy counter spell or a crazy bounce spell, whatever, you know. Just leave a comment, let me know. And I will see you guys again next time on How To Magic. Next time we will be, all right, let's see. We talked about basic spells, how turn works, the stack. Next time we'll go into some different effects like double strike or first strike or haste. We'll talk about some of those. Until then, hope you guys have a great night, and I will see you next time on Magic in the Basement.